Hi, I'm Todd Rosenbluth, Head of Research at Verify, and I'm joined by Dr. Richard Haass, President Emeritus for the Council on Foreign Relations. Dr. Haass, thanks for joining me.
Todd, good to be with you.
It's my pleasure. So you're going to be down at the Exchange Conference, and you're going to talk about geopolitical competition and global challenges. Why do you think it's important for all Americans to understand this?
Because the world isn't Las Vegas, Todd. What happens there doesn't stay there. So if we have problems in Asia or Europe or the Middle East, or there's global challenges like pandemics or climate change, one way or another, it's going to affect what happens here. And at the same time, what it is we do and how we do it or things we don't do affects what goes on out there. It's a loop. So, foreign policy, it turns out, isn't all that foreign. So I think it's important that Americans understand these issues and get involved in them as citizens.
So you've also made the case for a world order 2.0. I'd love for you to just explain what you mean by that.
Those were slightly more optimistic days. And I was hoping that the United States, in the aftermath of the Cold War ending, that the United States could work with the other major powers, essentially in fashioning the rules of how the world would operate. And I set forth certain principles, one of which, for example, was that people wouldn't use military force to acquire territory. Among other things, people would not support terrorism or those who do carry out terrorism. Talked about global cooperation on certain issues and so forth. And like I said, those were different times. And unfortunately, what we have, rather than global order 2.0, which referred to 1.0 being what happened after the World War II, we now have a new round of global disorder. We have two wars going on in the Middle East and in Europe. We're worried about what could happen in Asia. And at the global level, the gap between the challenges and the responses has grown. So I'll let historians argue, or we can talk about whether it was inevitable we get here or we made mistakes which explain how we got here, but we are where we are. And whatever else it is not global order 1.0, 2.0, or any 0.0.
So maybe let's just talk about why national security in your mind should be defined more broadly than it is today.
I think when people hear this phrase, national security, they tend to think about military stuff or foreign policy. But I think it's much broader than that. I think it's debt becomes something, energy security and dependency matters. Our political process matters. If our political process doesn't allow us to meet our domestic challenges or creates uncertainty with our friends or provides opportunities to our foes, well, that then all becomes part and parcel of national security. So rather than thinking of national security as simply what goes on at the Pentagon or the State Department, I think we need a much broader approach to understanding it. So it's as much in many ways domestic and what goes on here as it is what goes on out there.
Well, Dr. Haass, thanks for that. I'm excited that you're going to be down at the Exchange Conference in a couple of days. I'll see you there.
Look forward to it. Thanks again.